Hi all, welcome to this episode of City Gamer and reviewing CitizenCon. I really hope that you had a good time. I for sure did. Hence the wow on this screen. I was really amazed. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview of what I saw, what I remembered after a day's worth of information being poured out over us. So the highlights here, I have to say, is SOX. They did it. The first iteration of SOX server-side object container streaming will be in version 3.8, which is a major accomplishment and basically the foundation of everything else to come. The systems, more content, more planets, etc., etc. Really one of the bases to continue on. Obviously afterwards, it's very important that we get server meshing, etc., etc. But SOX, yeah, major accomplishment. Also here, Planetech V4. Again, we saw a brilliant presentation, and later on I will show you a little bit more of that. Dynamic weather, it looked really amazing in the game walkthrough, the gaming session that they have shown. It was really good to see that you have the droplets on the canopy, the snow, etc., etc., and the storm basically kicking up whilst the game was playing. Jump points, yes, again this time we saw a jump point demonstration and we ended up into the pyro system and it looked just amazing. So for me, these were the highlights that I would like to lift out. There is much more. They obviously spend the whole day going through everything, but I just want to do it quickly in a short fashion. So if you take a look at Planetech V4, please look at the episodes of other content providers or Starcitizen themselves. They can explain it much better than I can. There are some screenshots of Planetech V4 and it looks just amazing. Basically what I understand from it is that they have a little bit of a different approach where they have sort of a height map minus 1 kilometer plus 1 kilometer high, and this will determine where, for example, vegetation is, the tree line, where water will accumulate, etc., etc. And that in combination with a temperature map, those two items, height and temperature, I think they seem to dictate where things will be put inside of the game, meaning trees and growth and snow in this case, etc., etc. It really looks beautiful. And what it also showed is that there is a seamless transition from one biome into the other biome. For Microtech, you have the mountains with snow, you have sort of the savanna type biome where it is dry, there is no snow, the temperatures are a little bit more warm, there is a little bit more water over there, different growth, etc., etc. And obviously there you have the trees in the bottom right corner. It looks really amazing. So I think this tech is really beautiful. We're getting it in 3.8. And also what they have told during this presentation is that basically they have redone all of the planets and moons currently in the game with this new V4 Planetech, and I think they did it in something like 2 months or so. So that is amazing. So this is really a good stepping stone for any future developments of planets and moons. So then I would like to take a look at dynamic weather. Also, that looked really brilliant in the demo that they gave. It started out with clear skies, but very cold. So we indeed saw the moisture coming out of the mouth, the breathing moisture. You know, the vapors coming out of the mouth of the character, which was brilliant. And later on it became to storm. You saw the trees moving around. It really ended up in a blizzard, as you can see from the picture over here. And again, this dynamic weather is very much linked to Planet Tech V4. Elevation, temperature, etc. They are taken in consideration. You saw it in the demo. They were high up in the mountain where the blizzard was going on. They went further down the slope until the valley, and it started clearing up, which is absolutely brilliant. And another thing that they showed is basically the snow was sticking to the clothing, was sticking to the RSI rover. You can see that in the bottom right over there. And when the character stepped into a cave where it became a little bit warmer, or inside in the RSI rover, the snow melted away, and the visor of the armor became transparent again. So that is amazing. And also one thing that they showed off basically is the cloth tech, in a sense that they showed it earlier in picking up a coat. It was not rigid, it was very flexible, like a normal piece of cloth would be. And also they showed it when they revealed the RSI rover, which was under a tarp. He picked up the tarp, moved it away, and it seamlessly flowed on the ground, which was excellent. And we saw that example a long time ago. I'm not too sure in what program it was, but yeah, that was brilliant to see. The other thing is that it impacts the character health. You could clearly see the temperature, the core temperature of the character dropping when it got colder and colder. Obviously, that will result in shivering, which we also saw in the demo. And obviously, if you don't do anything with that, then it can sure lead to death. So that is quite interesting to see. Jump points and pyro. It was an amazing demo at the end of the game. At the end of the day, we saw a jump gate over there. You can see it on the top left, and the bottom left. You will see the approach towards that ring. Top right shows you a sort of a tunnel where you go from one end of the jump point to the next one. And as I understand it, you had to navigate manually, so you really need to steer. And there is sort of a guidance there that shows you where to go. It's almost like a stream of bubbles inside of water that you need to follow through the gate. You need to steer, you need to stay away from the walls. I understand that if you indeed hit the walls or go outside of the walls, you end up in the middle of nowhere, and not too sure what happens then, but we will for sure find out. The bottom right corner over there is basically when you exit the jump gate on the other end of this one, and this was the jump gate to pyro. You end up into the pyro system, and it was an amazing sight. I was sitting at the edge of my seat when this playthrough was shown. All right, let's talk about some ships. Obviously, the Carrack took center stage within this presentation. As we all know, the Carrack has been delayed until February, I believe, but still the ship looks amazing. I understand it's not finished yet, that's why it's delayed, but still in the state it is, at least the parts that they walked through, it looks brilliant. With the Carrack comes the Pisces on the top right there of the screen. Pisces comes in two variants, we'll talk about it in the future. Really a nice ship. I think it's very agile, it has some cargo capacity, 3 seats. So it really looks like a nice all-rounder as well. And the good thing is that it has a quantum drive. Now, I didn't see the presentation of John and crew because I just followed the video broadcast. So I was not there in person, so I missed that part. I hope they will put out the video soon on the Starcitizen website. So I just found some pictures from leaks, Starcitizen leaks, so that I took them out. I understand there was a discussion around the new Drake Kraken privateer, different from the Kraken that was already announced before. We'll get to that in more detail. Also, the Argo mole on the bottom right side was mentioned there, and also I saw some screenshots of vehicles 1 through to 4 about that more. So I hope I get some more details in the next couple of days so that I can dive into that a little bit more. So if we take a look at a little bit more detail around the ships, like I mentioned, the Carrack is becoming available in February 2020. The Pisces, as I understand, it has 2 models, the C8, which is indeed standard with the Carrack. In a previous episode, I told you about that would be strange that they didn't put the C8X, the Expedition one, in the Carrack, which is an Expedition version, a ship, I should say, and I still maintain that people are paying a lot of money for the Carrack, so why don't give them this extra? But yeah, is it so much extra? It is just, as I understand it, 2 guns more, which I am not interested in really, and it's a different skin, I believe. So it's still both types, they have quantum drives, both types still have what looks to be 4 SCU of cargo, although I hear people in the PTU saying that there is only 2 SCU. That can be a mistake, or the 4 SCU is a mistake. Not sure. It looks like visually it's 4 SCUs, but we'll have to wait and see. Then the Argo mole, I think that no one really anticipated that, although there were some people that made a remark about, okay, yeah, we have an entry-level mining ship, and we have the big Orion, so it's time for something in between, and voila, there it is, we have the Argo mole. Multi-operators, so you have 3 independent mining lasers. 3 people can either work together or separately, depends on how tough it is to break this rock up. It has a 4-person crew, so I'm assuming that there is another person doing, maybe it's the pilot, and then you have the miners, could be, I'll need to see. It has the double the storage of the prospector, and it uses the same mechanics. So with the saddlebags, they can detach, they can expand, depending on how much ore you have got in board, and they can be refilled, obviously, with the main analyzer. Touched upon the Kraken privateer already. It's a new variant of the Kraken. Basically, it replaces the cargo capacity that is on board right now, and it puts in place its own shopping markets, its own shopping stalls, its own shops, and just like the Banu Merchantman. So it's a direct competitor for the Banu Merchantman. So it's a mobile space station, if you will. All right, then we saw a slide, or 2 slides actually, about a number of vehicles. I think these are pipeline vehicles where they are in the initial phases of thinking about it, maybe, or maybe we have the option to choose which one we want first. So what we know about vehicle 1 is that it's an industrial manufacturer, 1 to 2 players, and yeah, it allows mining, probably with a attachment or whatnot. The mining heads that were announced some time ago. Who knows? It's set at AIDS detection, so it must also have some sort of a scanning facility in there. Vehicle 2 is a SIA manufactured, a new SIA ship basically, but it's manufactured not by Aopea. Iopoa, don't know how you pronounce that. It's for sure a multi-crew vessel, and yeah, it looks like that it has quite some storage capacity, 300 SUs, which is competitive to the whole B, and the Max, the Freelancer Max. So yeah, it's a sort of a alien cargo holder, it looks like. Now number 3 is a fighter. It seems to be the companion for the Prowler that is coming out later on. As you know, the Prowler also has been moved out in the recent updates. It has some size 4 mounts, which is quite substantial, and the same shield tag as the Prowler. So that might be an interesting ship for people who enjoy this type of gameplay. Now, vehicle 4 is a starter, a refinery ship, which is quite interesting. I don't think, no, we don't have any of this in-game right now. So basically the idea is that you go up to that ship, probably with the cargo pods of the Prospector or the other ship that I just mentioned, the Mole. You drop it over there, this ship will process it, and then it refines the material, stores it on board, and then either you pick it back up again, or maybe the ship itself flies to wherever and then yeah, sells it at one of the depots or whatnot. So it's, I think, an interesting ship there. We have a lot of the mechanics, so we have the mining in there, we're missing the refinery. So this one, yeah, the gameplay is in there as much as possible, and it's just a matter of adding to it. So yeah, quite an interesting ship, I think. So then timelines, yeah, I could be totally wrong here, so if you guys find some mistakes here, please let me know. So I try to remember it as much as I can, and when I look back the episodes, I might make some changes to this, make a new video maybe. But for so far as I understand it, for now, really now, is even before the 3.8 patch, in the PTU we already have the Pisces flyable, so it's straight to flyable. You can enjoy it right now. I also thought that the Argo Mole is straight to flyable. Could be totally wrong. I didn't see anything that it is in game at this moment in time. So it could be that maybe when it's Argo's time during the how do you call it, the expo, then maybe it becomes available and flyable for people. Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I thought I heard John Cruz saying that it's straight to flyable. Could be wrong. Then 3.8 SOX, yes, the first implementation. So don't get your hopes high for this first implementation. Probably there will be some bugs with that. Probably it will need some further iterations. We'll see what it does, but I think it's a brilliant first step. Then obviously we'll see Microtech, New Babbage, only the landing zone and the exterior. So I'm not expecting that we can travel from the landing zone all the way up to the city and to visit the city and have spawning points over there. So I'm not expecting that. Maybe there's a spawning points on New Babbage itself in the starport, but interiors will become later. Planetech V4 is there. We should see this, and the new UI as well. That also looks much better than we have today, specifically for the elevators. That's really horrible at this moment in time. Now for 2020, what we can expect, but who knows? Can also be 2021 or later. We don't know. So we can see the jump points. We can see Pyro that looks in quite a good shape, but you know, we've seen this before, so take it with a pinch of salt. Dynamic weather, space cloud tech. In the demonstration, it was there was a nice point in the presentation where this cloud tech was coming up just before they entered the jump point into Pyro. They want to focus also on better social group gameplay, platform persistence, more robust missions, prison gameplay as well. There was another separate panel on prison gameplay which I could not see, so let's see what that means. Platform persistence, Chris Roberts went into that a little bit more. He obviously reiterated that he hoped sooner rather than later there will be no more wipes. Yeah, we'll see. I'm not too sure. I don't think he mentioned really timeframes. I don't think he mentioned that by 3.8 we would have a certain part of the persistence. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. I still would be very careful in grinding, and then to find out there is another wipe. So yeah, he said we don't give any guarantees. If there is a reason we can't get out of this wiping of databases, then we need to do it, but we hope we shouldn't. Now for 2020 whatever, or 20 whatever, more quality of life changes will be seen. The full universe persistence, obviously, then is what one of the major pillars for the game. More loops, more content, and server meshing. Absolutely, that's also one of the big ones out there. Get as many people in the same instance or environment as you can. Bigger universe, so more jump points, more systems, etc., etc. And also a thing that is called Quantum. This is basically a tool that is used within CIG to manipulate the economy, basically. So what Tony showed during the presentation, and please have a look, it's very complicated. I didn't understand half of it, but basically what he did is put a factory here, put a refinery there, put a shop there, and you know, the quantums, if you will, they will start moving, for example, ore from a mine like laranite or whatnot to a refinery, and then from a refinery to a factory, which then together with, for example, aluminium creates a power supply, which then goes to a shop. And at this moment in time, the shop then simulates sort of usage, consumption of this power supplies. I would like to have seen this go one step further, and that you have sort of consumers added to this model. That they indeed would then consume, would buy the power supplies or quantum drives from the shops. But I guess that might not have been necessary, but maybe that will be done in the future. I can imagine that is just the next step, maybe, if they need to do that. But it was amazing to see how this all worked, because you could really see that, all right, if there are no consumers in there, the factories will produce until they have reached a level limit, and that's it, nothing further. So quite interesting. The Drake Kraken Privateer, I can only hope that the other Kraken would come out either at the same time or before this one. And then you have the vehicles that I mentioned before, and who knows what else. So guys, that was a quick, more than 20 minutes worth of me talking, what I've seen, what my impressions are. Yeah, I was really impressed. I really enjoyed watching the presentations. Can't wait for all of the videos that are coming out from the many content providers that are out there. Also, I would like to wish everyone a happy expo. Have a good look at the free flies. That would be great. I hope that many people will come on board and play this wonderful game. It's still in alpha, so please note that it's full of bugs still. So it's more of a tourist destination at this moment in time than really a playable game. And that reminds me, by the way, they also had they shown off a high octane gaming modes, shoot them up and all of that stuff. Not that interested in that, so that's why I'm skipping out on that one in this presentation. But if you're in first-person shooters, PvE, PvP, then please watch that episode as well. Alright, that was it. Thank you for watching, and until next time, bye now.